He wanted to carve his name into the wall, but he chiseled off a stone so easily. Looking at the fragile wall, and the stone that crumbled when pinched, he suddenly had an idea to break out of prison. So he hid under a poster and started digging the wall, taking the opportunity of going out to let off steam, shaking the rubble silently down on the playground. 19 years have passed since then. In the early morning of a breaking dawn, prison guards noticed during roll call, prisoner number 245 was late in showing up. The fierce guards wanted to teach him some lessons, but when he stepped into the cell, he was dumbfounded by the scene in front of him.
Oh my holy God.
A murderer had disappeared into a maximum security prison. The news shocked all of Shawshank. The warden arrives on the scene. His mind was reeling. He suspected that Andy and Reed were inseparable. They must be up to something. But he tried to get the truth out of Reed, and the answer he got was nothing. The angry warden lost his temper. He took a rock and hit the poster on the wall. Surprisingly, the rock didn't bounce back. The warden was shocked. The poster on the wall had a hole in it. Shocked, he tore along the hole. A passageway to freedom appeared. It was only at this moment that everyone realized Andy had already escaped from prison. This is recognized as the world's #1 movie. It's a must-see movie, a murder case in 1947. It involved a banker named Andy. Without sufficient evidence, Andy was transported to the famous Shawshank prison. They were greeted by a cheering crowd of inmates. The lineup appeared to be very card-carrying. The new inmates were terrified. Reed starts making bets with his friends again. Andy would be the first to cry. Instead, the inmates turned their attention to the terrified fat man. Early the next morning, a ray of sunlight filtered through the barred windows. The inmate sat at the table eating breakfast. Andy's eyes are drawn to a fat protein. He instinctively tries to pinch it up and throw it away, but an old man asked for it. Andy's eyes flashed with mixed emotions. He handed the fat protein to the old man. Andy thought he would eat it. Instead, he fed it to the sparrow in his pocket. After a long time in prison, they have to have some fun, and that's what he did with this little sparrow. For the rest of his life, Andy repeated the same monotonous labor every day. Everyone thought he was an honest man. He turned his head and got in touch with the prison's know-it-all.
Wife-killing banker. Why'd you do it?
I didn't, since you ask.
Everybody in here is innocent. Did you know that?
It was like he was grasping at a straw. He begged him to help him get a stone hammer for carving.
I guess you want to escape. Tunnel under the wall, baby. I missed something here. What's funny?
You understand when you say the rock hammer.